Hi there. I think I'm on. Let's see. Sure thing. Doesn't sound like it. Uh, but I guess I'll be on anyway. So welcome to Friday Mastery, right? Today's mastery and mastering creation. Yesterday's morning session, amazing. I say this week has been a tough week for me personally, a tough week. We have them, right? They go up and down. We have good flowing weeks and we have um, difficult weeks. That is life, right? And what about life is how we respond to it, how we react to it. Um, and in that is the reflection of progress. How do we progress? And only in that progress can we see how we've improved, where we can improve. And so, in that, the new word that I was working with that I am fascinated and celebrating is repair, reunion. That came after repair, pair as two choices, as two people repairing. Where I used to think of repairing as fixing something, I envision repairing the road, repairing the bridges, repairing the house, fixing something, doing maintenance. Relationships are not that way. Yet I was approaching them that way. I saw them that way. I see them differently now. And what I saw in pairing, was two hearts entangled with the past, with the way things had always been entangled. That is the emotional entanglement, that's the energy entanglement, and that is the experiential entanglement. And as I thought about repairing, I pulled them apart in my mind. Just mind thought about that was the vision I had was the hearts pulling apart. Washing out, being cleansed, washed through with love, unconditional love. That was cleaning the past, cleaning the future, cleaning what was there, washing away. And as that repair took place, there was two hearts that could choose to rejoin. That is repairing, re-choosing, choosing again, choosing to join, to engage, to come together. Conditionally, unconditionally, two hearts joining. Reunion, reunion, reuniting. So that is the mastery, the creative mastery I celebrate. At the time I needed it, my dad sent me a text, never sent a text that just said, I love you, when I needed it most. So doing the little things, celebrating the little things when you need them most, when you don't even know you need them, and the impact that they can have. Breakthrough happened, movement happened, repairing is happening. That is what I celebrate today. That is what I celebrate in rejoining. I don't want many more shots at it, but I know it's part of life. It's part of lessons. It's part of learning. Now, those hearts are choosing. Everyone has a choice to bring our hearts together, separate hearts, go different ways in our hearts. I know my choice. I know my choice. I stand strong in my choice. So may your heart repair. That is creative mastery. That is creative choice. That is sitting in the tension. that is creating the tension, that is creating what you love. Greatest gift we can have is going for creating, living in the moment, the tension of what would you love to have, and the tension of it not being there, of not showing up the way you want it, when you want it, how you want it, and faith and trust and truth that it will show up, that it will be there. What's the alternative? You're living it already. So may you find mastery in your life. May you find mastery in your heart. May you master creation, master the present, master truth, master trust, master focus, master your awareness. Aware of what? Aware of your charge. Wow. Went through a very charged situation. Holding center, hearing what was there. I was proud of where I stood. Proud of how I responded. And the space that was created.
Hi, Jace.
Hi, Allison. How are you?
I'm okay. Thank you. I'm so sorry I'm late.
Oh,
It's been a new practice for me this year to be on time. I like your background.
yeah, I put that on for something else. Haven't taken it off yet.
It's nice. I like it.
Yeah, it's my orange tree that is no longer there.
Aww.
So the memory is still here.
The memory's still there. What happened to the orange tree?
Oh, it died.
Oh, okay.
You got a bug on it and we cut it down.
Yeah. Wow, that must have been so nice to have oranges.
It was. We got another orange tree planted, but it will be a while until we have oranges.
Yeah.
The life of an orange tree.
The life cycle of fruit trees.
That's right. Yeah. Mastery of Friday. How's your mastery today? I do have a 2:00 today, so.
You have, sorry?
2:00, so I got 2 hours.
Okay. Thank you. How's my mastery? I've been pleased to say that, or to see, not to say, to see that I can discern a little bit more between things. And when I do that, it gives more, it opens things up more.
Mm-hmm.
Which is good.
Mm-hmm.
But on another level, then I don't know what the fuck to do with it all. But that's part of it. That's part of the process, right?
Yep. Someone aiming for where you're at, what would you tell them?
What would I tell them? I would tell them that. I'd say to them, that's amazing. And yes, you are going to feel lost, but that's part of the adventure because you don't know. You don't know yet how you're going to pull it together.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that whatever you're going to pull together is not going to look like anything that you had before.
Mm-hmm. Which is what we want.
Yes, it is.
Which is why we're not satisfied, which is why there's the pursuit of, why there's going for, why there's something else that's just around the corner.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't ask me why it's that way.
But maybe that's exactly what the laws of nature are.
That's why I said, don't ask me. Because I can't tell, right? Did we get in the way of it, or is it
Yes.
got to be that way? That's beyond my pay grade.
Yeah. If it's beyond yours, Jess, it's way beyond mine, I can assure you. Because like I've said before, I don't think at the speed that you do, that's for sure.
I love your speed that you think at.
Thanks. It's got to be somebody to slow it down, right?
Mm-hmm.
To ground it. So I'm thinking about what got shared this morning in terms of the focus. And for me, it had to do with the focus, which might imply this. It was the intent, because of the focus, there was an intensity. And it's interesting. It felt like with what you'd practiced that there was an intensity, but it went from like a dense intensity to a very open intensity. And usually for me, I don't put those two words together. I don't usually put open and intensity together.
Yeah. Those are visions for me. I know they're visions then. And when it's not like in the moment, can I say like that's what it is, but like in reflection of, it's like those are extremely powerful experiences when they happen that way.
Yes.
That I probably won't ever forget. Is they are so real, so in the moment, so like out of the blue, like, wow, I didn't expect to see, because they are for me to see that. I didn't see that, but it wasn't like seeing with my eyes that it was closed my eyes. My imagination went there and I felt it happening.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's so interesting because I can relate to what you're saying. And at the same time, when I was talking about what I'd observed, my experience of that, the most recent one is what's happened for me this year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that in my recovery, not having to have all those surgeries, and my body was recovering, but it was in recovery mode. So I mean, when I look back and I think about how in many ways almost discombobulated my thoughts felt still from my body. But there was this pull. And I I know that I've never been able to recover in that way, where there was this intensity and openness at the same time, and I never realized that, until now, talking it through. And then there were all the synchronicities that just blew me away, and they still do.
Yeah, it's like that's the validation we've learned not to look for, but appreciate when we see it.
Yes, exactly. Very well put. Thank you.
The miracles that
Yeah.
expecting miracles in the way, but not how we expect them to be. And
so now that you say that, you put it in that way, like the expecting of miracles, what I realized during last week and during last week, after having like quite a few weeks of uncomfortable density, put it that way. Oh God, this is happening quite a lot now. Yeah. There's so much that goes on at the same time, and I can't separate them and pull them together to communicate it. Okay, so there was this uncomfortable density, and then what I realized was that I have access to something inside of me now that I can appeal to on a daily basis with small things, which I never thought was a domain to do that in, or to do that for. So, and I think that's a gift. I think that's what the gift is for me, to realize that. Because when you build a new structure, it's really good if you can attend to the detail in the detail, right?
yes, the little ones create the big ones.
Yeah.
So the practice, the pattern, the new pattern, the little pattern will feed the big patterns.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was spinning my wheels because I wasn't attending to the little ones. I was trying to accomplish the bigger ones and not managing all that well.
Feels like a version of letting go.
And on another, yes, but it's a letting go while bringing in resources. If that makes sense. So it's letting go of the expectation that I have to do it without the resource that I have available. That's there all the time, but I just didn't think that I was allowed to use it.
Right, yeah. Well, it's like we say like it was like we were aware that it was there, but I don't think we are.
Exactly.
I don't know. And then that means like, oh, we don't think it works for that part of it, but we would expect it to work for the bigger things.
Yeah. And it can't work for the bigger things if it hasn't had an opportunity to facilitate the smaller.
That's right. Which all the energy that's gone into certain patterns from the past, we stop putting energy into them and are creating new patterns into the future. That's momentum. And it's the little ones that lead to the big ones.
Yeah.
How else would we be prepared or preparing or changing, progressing, improving, whatever word you want to put onto the future? repairing.
Mm. Mm. And it's, it's really interesting for me. I had a woman in my social circle long time ago now. And she was an energy worker, and I didn't know about that. And I mean, I knew about that stuff, but that was for other people to do. It certainly wasn't for me. And she got very ill with liver cancer, and she was a best friend of one of my best friends. And so Nina asked me, she said, Ali, would you go and do your meditation with her? And I said, well, of course. And so I went, and it was a mind-blowing experience for this woman, which was a complete surprise to me. And I can remember thinking then how interesting it was that she had access to all this energy to do really powerful work for people. And I had been given this gift. And in some ways I had obviously compared it in my mind, because I thought that my energetic field wouldn't be strong enough, but I was going to do it anyway. So that was interesting for me to see that. And she went to there's a very well-known healer in Brazil. He's called John of God, and she lived in his retreat center for I think 6 weeks, and then came back. And she had, she gave testimony to it because everybody had collected money for her to go. And when she gave the testimony, everybody wanted to know, how big is the tumor? What's happened with all of that? And she said to them, I don't really know how big the tumor is now. But what I do know is that I feel healed. And she died 6 months later. She said, I'm not going back. I don't need to. I feel healed. And that was a very important distinction for a lot of people in that community, because there was the expectation that she was going to come back and that tumor would be gone. That the cancer would be cleared. And she was very firm about that. The healing doesn't always go into the body, and it's not important. I get a bit nervous on that level, but it is what I, do practice. I don't say it's not important. It is important, but the energetic and the heart and the soul healing that we do is way more important than how long the body lives. Hi, Gigi.
Hey, I didn't want to interrupt. I'm walking the dog.
Nice.
Hi, Jenny.
Hey, Jesse. How was did you take a little trip with the fam?
Yeah, over the past weekend. Yeah, the weekend was good. For the most part. For the most part. Yeah. Welcome home for you. How's your Mastery Friday going? What did you master this week?
Well, I mastered, I guess, my first attempt at recording the webinar.
Mhm.
And I mastered travel jet lag. I guess it wasn't really jet lag. I stayed in really within an hour of a time zone. But I think the travel and then coming back to 90-degree heat
Oi.
caught up with me. But I mastered mowing the backyard so it's not the size of trees. So I got that done early and then I finished it after the call. So then I've even had a shower in between.
You go, girl. And now you're
Yeah.
walking.
And now I'm walking again. I'll probably need another shower because it's still 90 degrees.
That's hot.
Actually, let me see. It feels like 91 when it was actually 87. Now it's 90 exactly. Thunderstorms will continue, but we haven't seen them. So that's why I mowed the lawn, ate something this morning, half of it anyway. And then before 11, I had the rest done because it said it was going to rain at 11, but it didn't. That's okay. It's done.
It's a good feeling when you get yard work done.
Yes, I did weeding. My flower beds were all overgrown. And I edged with the weed eater. Went through a whole spool of weed eating. So it needed it. So in terms of coaching mastery, I don't know.
Well,
Well, don't
definitely
think
for
about it.
someone to do their yard.
Well, I think we have to weed our thinking as much as if we weed our yards.
Yeah,
So there's definitely a metaphor in there.
there is. There are lots of metaphors in gardening.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to get your hands dirty.
Ho, 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 ho.
Wow, it's so windy all of a sudden. I apologize. I'll mute if it's distracting.
It wasn't.
I can't actually hear it, Jenny. I can't. Gigi, how would you describe, or what would you describe in terms of mastery internally? One of them that you experienced on the trip.
Are you thinking of something I said that I'm not remembering? Well, I hadn't seen my siblings since before the house fire before COVID. So that was nice to reconnect. And I think some of the learning that we've shared together is like concretized, as Hannah would call it. So I could be of service to my sister. And then my oldest sister was of service to me, seeing how I might be enabling another issue with my other child. So that was an interesting conversation. But I still, as I reflected on it, Allison, I still think that there's the orientation from problem solving rather than creative structure. So
That's a
after
good
reflecting, after reflecting on it, I thought, okay, well, they're starting with the problem, which is what has been happening since I got home. Same with the spouse. Focusing on what isn't right, what is. And so I find that challenging for me because people don't understand that when you want to reorient back to what's working instead of focus on what's not working, then they just think you're just ignoring it. But the energy is depleting. It's not emboldening or energizing. And then when you stay cycling in what isn't working, it literally manifests itself in illness.
Mm.
which is what I've noted with my husband. He's like, I'm just gonna lay down, my head's pounding. But since I've been home, it's been focused on what isn't right. So it's been interesting to see after. Come on, Coco.
It is it is letting go of the past.
Well, wouldn't focusing on what hasn't been happening be the past?
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is the past. It's an orientation of the past. It's a like almost like a fear of what hasn't even happened yet for the future. So in that fear of what hasn't happened in the future, what are we going to create?
We have this moment now to create what we choose in this moment.
Best I can tell, right? The present moment contains both the past and the future.
Yeah.
And we can pre-send information, pre-send the future, pre-send to the present. And I think that's so much of our orientation is so much of the past is like not letting it go. If there's like call that an addiction, please. Somebody call it an addiction.
Yeah, I mean, it is. That's fundamentally what our addictions are about, totally. But how do you get someone? I mean, because what I'm thinking, when you're in that kind of close relationship, so often what happens is that people can't separate the message from the messenger. And they have a fixed expectation of the messenger. And then if those expectations aren't being met, then it doesn't matter what message comes from you, they can't hear it.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting to. And it's it both ways, because you know, I mowed the lawn not for gratitude or a affirmation, but the first question he asked was, "Did you mow the lawn?" And I'm like, "Yes." And he said, "I could tell." And it wasn't like, "Thank you."
Yeah.
Okay. And he said, "What time did you do it? Did you do it in the heat of the day?" Like, because yesterday I was resting when he got home, and he thought, that was wrong. But I said, "Well, I did it early this morning after I walked the dog, and then I finished it up before noon." So
What's he really looking for?
I know.
Well, it felt like something to find fault with. So I brought that up. I said, "Well, I don't understand the question, but you don't want me doing it in the heat of the day. But at the same time,
why not here? Like what is at the core of it? You're well enough aware of patterns. You're well enough aware of seeing it. You're well enough of knowing his patterns. What is the core wounding at the center of it for him?
Well, he's basically said the wife is supposed to be home and, you know, you work one day a week because that's the day I clean. But I'm like, well, that just basically invalidates the work that I'm trying to create or working to create, not trying. I got to get rid of the trying.
Mhm.
But he's not seeing results, so he just thinks it's a waste of time.
Mhm.
So um
And so in that would be, well, go work like I do, and then we would be equal, and then he would feel guilty about that because he's to be the provider.
Exactly.
yeah. Well, when we met, I was basically making more than he was. And so we were equal in that we both had kind of a daytime
Uh-huh.
W-2 job.
Yeah.
So
I
trying,
mean,
you know,
the core of it is his insecurity of providing the fullness that is required. That's so that's, it's not is it not good enough?
yeah, it's good enough. I mean,
I don't know. Is his wounding? Is he the part? Does he have the wounding of I'm not good enough?
He does.
Okay.
yes, he does.
So then at the end of the day, that is the validation that's required.
That's right.
Nothing more than that.
That
But it's
you're good. What?
Yeah.
That's all that's required is to say you're good enough.
Well, no, not to say it, but to be that support of it, to remind that, to be in that, to give that little boy what he's looking for.
Mhm.
He just doesn't know how to go about getting it. Yeah. I mean, he only knows his patterns around it. And in all reality, that we all know that that doesn't produce the outcome we want.
No,
Right?
it
The
actually
adult and the child don't know how to have that conversation together until you put them together for them. But that would be a willingness to say, Jenny, do your magic you have on me.
well, that's easier said than done, I guess.
That's my point. It's like, that's not at the point of it yet. Now that's fine. So in the awareness of it is you're like giving him the validation that he's looking for.
Hmm.
And not by answering his questions, not by taking the attack, not by whatever he's going to dish to you. If that's the core wounding, and the core wounding changes. Yeah. I mean, there's a primary and then there's secondaries.
Hmm.
Allison was pretty sure that was the one. So it's, I mean, and that's part of the awareness is to sit, is it my charge, your charge, or both of our charges, is sit in as what does this need? What does this situation require? That's the mastery.
Yeah.
And
so
maybe
go ahead. Maybe I should what?
sorry, it's a small gesture, but you know the T-shirt that you got for yourself.
Yeah, order one for him.
Yeah,
Hmm.
to start.
Oh, Father's Day is coming.
Exactly.
Well, the girls ordered these pop-up cards, and there's one with a classic car. Actually, Heidi ordered it because I'm getting like a 3-minute conversation with Grace, and it's usually something she needs. So, but,
Well, isn't that every conversation?
yes, but you know, she's in a place that doesn't have a great signal, and she's busy with being trained to be a counselor, so she's not,
Yeah.
you know, she's not chit-chatting. She's,
Yes.
it's 50 degrees. I need blankets, and and they're starting another activity. I gotta go.
It sounds about as much time as we get with our spouse, doesn't
Yeah, fair enough.
it? The toughest one. Ugh.
Yeah.
And the most important one.
Yeah. So my little voice in my head saying, well, if you can't master this with your own husband, how are you going to do it with other people? But that's not really fair.
No, that's not fair at all. It's your like you haven't even mastered it with yourself yet.
Yeah.
None of us have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Better. Yeah. Better than most.
Yes. Awareness. That's half the battle right there.
Yeah. What's the second half then?
Noticing the charge and choosing to be aligned or
Yeah.
not to react.
Yeah. Yeah. Doing something about it. Right. And what's that something? And then expecting that something, no, we've got to get it right. And that one move that we make is going to fix it all.
Yeah. It's like playing Go with artificial intelligence.
Mhm.
Oh, I
Or-
don't know about that. I think you get wiped out pretty quickly.
Yeah. It's a billion times smarter than me.
Gigi,
Yes, ma'am.
when you think about how you felt when you were away, and then how you feel internally being back home,
Oh, it's
what is it that you have inside of you that you could draw on now? And I'm asking because, I mean, you and I have spoken about this. Because there's a sense of depletion that happens when we're in that constant problem-solving structure with someone.
Mhm. Well, and there's a difference where the problem solving, when it's done jointly about something like triangulated versus almost accusatory that you're not this and you don't have a good schedule and this is that, and when are you going to make money and all it's very personalized in this structure right now. And sometimes I'm stronger than others of taking that and not reacting, but today is not one of those days.
Yeah, man. Here's a smart ass is how's your passion going? there's my smart ass.
Yeah. Keeping the passion despite the external
Mastery. Because the passion isn't always about money.
No, it's about helping others and
Yep.
making a difference in the world.
That's right. And
Do you speak to that with him?
Yeah, but it's not what then his attitude is back to what Jesse said, do your magic on me. You're such a great coach me. And if we were
you're not a coach in a marriage, sorry.
well, if we were screening clients, he wouldn't have made it through.
boom. Yeah, dang, I love it. Dang. Woo!
You wouldn't qualify for my course.
We would have canceled the appointment because he wouldn't have filled out the form.
Oh God. At least we can laugh about this. I mean,
Well, you gotta laugh about it.
yes, one does
What
have
else
to.
can you do?
Otherwise
Otherwise, you cry.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to cry at the moment.
Not when I'm on the phone with some heavyweights.
No,
So
but
I offer repair as pair as two.
I like that. That's good.
So I'll pull it out. I'll copy and paste it so that it's there, but you can call it a quick meditation.
Okay.
From yesterday morning. So yesterday morning, and then even the beginning of this session was the introduction to it. So if you don't get something from me, those two places you can find it. Quite amazing when you can take the hearts, view the hearts. And when you view the hearts, you'll see them entangled. You'll see them entangled. Go to the beginning. Go to the beginning before the hearts came together. Separate them. Separate the hearts. Wash the hearts. Clean the hearts. Support the hearts. Love the hearts. Yeah. But separate them, keep them separated. And as they separate, then remember to repair the hearts is both choices. You make your choice and see what their choices are. You'd be amazed. Repair. Not fix it, not like a bridge, not like a road, not like a cabinet. Not like a leaking sprinkler.
So they appear to be unpaired, then you're repairing them
Yeah.
as opposed to, okay, Coco, you get your
A union or reunion.
reunite.
Cleaning, and what that is cleans the past. Cleans the energy that's trapped in between it. Use that in your meditation. Use that in your visualizing what you want. Use that in your before you go to bed, before when you wake up, whichever time you do it.
Thank you. I like that. Thank you very much.
That is really beautiful.
And you do it right, it'll work. If it doesn't, it's on you.
You did it wrong. Back to problem solving again.
You know what I mean.
That'll fix it.
It is, I mean, I think that, the concept is, and we can do that for anything that we're entangled with. I think it's a new one. It's a new one I'm practicing with.
How is the greenhouse gas connecting the dots going?
Good. It's eco oil.
Nice.
Yeah. Green profits. Eco oil is emission cutting oil leaders. So we'll creating a membership, an opportunity in which we will be looking at profit per ton reductions. So the biggest profits from the biggest ton reduction, gets the awards, and maybe Bill Gates will be able to fund the awards for us. Proton. Oh. We've got so a tool, a membership opportunity, another ad that there's an ad that's coming out with that, and then conversations are happening at the high level with one of the big companies right now.
Oh, that's fabulous.
They're still not happening locally enough, but in the meantime, I'm working on the credit that qualifies for it. So not as expected, not as wanted to be, still not where it needs to be, but How can I make
And
it go
it's-
any different?
Perfect time and perfect order.
Out of my liking, yes.
So is that divinely speaking or ego-y?
Oh, of course, it's all ego. I mean, of course it's ego, because the divine side of it knows that it. So my ego is driving for certain ways that I want it to be, like for me to take care of this, for that, for the opportunity, for the fun side, for all the money side, right? That's the ego side of it. And then the other side, the divine side of it is that's the passion and the purpose. The calling, if you will, put it as the calling aspect of it. The calling and the ego, they come together. They're one and the same. The
When they're
greed
aligned.
aspect of it really wants that part of it, yeah, but it can't be the driver. Otherwise, I'm back in the old structure. The
And it's tricky.
unresolvable structure, the one that didn't work, that I spent most of my time living in, yeah.
Sometimes the new structure is not as comfortable as the old one.
No, it's without a doubt. The familiar one is the safest. Which is so hard, why it's so hard to get out of it. And which is why it's so hard to hear anyone else's new one, which is so hard to say, well, just listen to me, damn it, and I can prove it to you. And pressured, put on the spot, those that are holding certain standards don't have a answer to the standard they're holding you to.
Is that when they shift the game a little,
Yep.
change the rules?
Yeah. Or limit themselves, right? Lock it in. It's like, oh, this was the way that it is. Haven't seen any of that along the way. No improvements around it. It's always going to be this way. That's the shifting ego. There's no, I mean, that's an awareness that we're not big enough to fix. For an example, if there's a standard I can never hit, why hold it to me? Why hold me to that standard? What's my point? Right? Yet you're going to still hold me to that standard that you just say yourself I could never get to. Whose fault is that?
Well, it seems like an intention. Set a standard that can't be hit to keep the control.
Yep. Well, and then who fails?
Both.
Well, the whole system
Both
fails.
loses, yes, that's for sure. But from my perspective, who fails it? Who doesn't
One
live
trying
up to
to
the
innovate.
standards? The other one.
Yeah.
That's that slippery ego. Those unresolvable structures. I will never win. So I stop fighting because it doesn't matter if I lose.
Which goes back to non-resistance. Win the prize. And
And it becomes aware of the pattern and refusing to play in the pattern that you can never win in, never break through, never have a chance in. Can't play that pattern. I won't engage in that pattern. Now, easier said than done.
Yeah. Especially when you feel the urgency of the need.
Yeah.
On the other side, you know, of
Yep.
And you can see the consequences.
Yeah.
The lost opportunities. I mean, that's huge.
And the real aspect of it is the ones that are making the expectation need to see themselves that it's possible. That's the opening, that's the space, that's because there's always a possibility. Even if it's never happened.
Yeah, that's you know, that one's really difficult to get other people to I don't know, to trust you enough. I think there's trust that comes in with that.
It's trust when you can never have it again. Right. It's like, well,
Yeah.
or trust to this point, right? Never trust here, never trust this again. And it's well, we can say is like, well, you can put things around it that support the trust to it. Yeah. I mean, there's things that are doable for it, but it like to ask at what point would I ever earn that back? Never. Well, there's no space for that. It's like that's an unrealistic opportunity. That's an unrealistic space. That's a conditional. That's conditional. And in all reality, we'll be keep looking for that and keep validating that and keep creating it then.
When you say it, what do you mean with it?
I would say the trust or the outcome in which you never can get to
Yeah.
it. The end, the outcome, the situation, the fear of it, you could call it the past experience. If that can never be let go, it'll always be out in front and it'll always be what we're looking for and we will always find it. And it's like, so then, and expect someone to live up to that standard, to a standard they can never live up to. Because there's no possibility in their mind that they could ever allow it again, that it could ever happen. Yet I want you to go, yet I want you to be this, but you could never be this.
So that's the instruction from the outside. I want you to be this, but I know that you can never be this.
That's right. No, that's the outside inside. That's the mental and the unconscious. That's the unresolvable.
So what's the best way to shift that? To go inside and affirm what is.
It depends on whose it is, right? If you've got the skill to do that, I would say yes. And the other one is if you don't, and if it's someone else's, then you figure it out. Like what is the one, what space can be created, right? So the other one is, well, if am I willing to aim for it? How would we know we got there? Right? That's the big one. What would it look like if we got there? Well, we can't ever get there. Great. What's the one below it then?
Mm.
Or if there's not one below it, then it's like, okay, well, how do we mitigate this biggest thing? So all we're doing is creating space.
Mm.
What's the next level, right? How do we get there? And if we can't have that, what's the next best thing?
Sure. I struggle with that a lot.
And, you know, at some point that condition is not going to be needed. At
Yes.
some point. So find that point is like, well, what about this one? And then boom, there's space. Boom, it's gone. It's wiped out.
Yeah.
And now there's space again. It's like, oh, well, then look, I can get there then, right? I can do that. That's the point of it. I can achieve that. And we can go for that.
Yeah. And that's
Mm-hmm.
how you build trust, though, too, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, we
And
build
you're
it
trying to build
with
trust
the-
and you're trying to build trust in the old structure too. I mean, that's the shitty part
yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're building, in, when we do it internally, we're building trust with our own subconscious. I said I would do it and I did it. I took that action and I survived. But then it involves another person with their wounding, then it's small steps in the old structure to help build a bridge to the new one.
That's right.
Pull them along.
Come along for the ride.
They don't have to buy a ticket. They can get off at any stop.
Mm.
That's when it's their choice. They can get off at any stop.
That's a good one, Gigi.
Come for the ride. You can get off at any stop and the ticket was free.
Yeah,
That's a win-win. Yes, and
it is very much.
And we're not attached to the way that it has to go.
But we've got clarity about what we want the experience ultimately to be for us.
Yep. Yep.
Because that's important. And it's with that clarity that you present the opportunity.
Yes, and you're clear of your choice.
Yes. It's crucial.
Mm.
And I think that's why it is so difficult sometimes when there's such big entanglement, because people lose sight of what their choice is.
That's a problem solving, right? Is that when we lose sight of the choice, when we lose sight of the potentials, the opportunities, the what could be's, we're in a problem solving, and we just assume
That's
there's a
right.
problem to fix when it's just a choice to be made.
That's right, exactly.
And again, don't ask me why it's got to be so damn difficult with others.
Oh, sorry, Bliss. Oh, God.
sorry, my neighbor just wanted to ask me about something, so I muted. That's one of the curses and blessings of being a public official in your neighborhood.
That and being married, we'll call it that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why does it got to be so damn difficult?
Just trying to take a call and walk my dog.
So, but that's, I mean, that's also the stepping stone. That difficulty is the stepping stone. It's the opportunity then to push us and maybe.
Well, it's the
I don't like to use-
contrast, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Gigi. Yeah. I don't like to use the
So,
word push, but you can push against it to get.
well, then when you push against it, you're resisting and you get more of it. So that's not a good strategy.
Yeah, so sorry, Jenny. What I mean is I'm thinking about swimming. You know, when you do
Ah.
that, right? And you've got the wall.
Hmm.
And the wall is much more useful to have in terms of your how much further
Oh,
you
to
can
push
go.
off. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. To give you momentum.
yeah,
But if you're swimming towards the wall, that's not a good plan. Like to push against the wall.
no, exactly. To try and
'Cause
swim through it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, and the stop is harder when you go with more momentum. I mean,
Yeah.
being years ago a competitive swimmer, you do push toward the end to try to touch the wall first, but it hurts more when
Yeah.
you slam it.
Exactly.
I guess I was going with the resistance of,
Yeah,
it's the stick of what I want and what I don't want. And no matter which one I give energy to, I don't want this, I get more of it. I
Yeah.
want this, I get more of it.
That's
How
right.
the law of attraction works.
Yes. Yep. And that is not prevalent in our language, in our society, in our structure. We think the more we avoid it, you all know that, it brings more of the other, and it doesn't.
yeah.
Which is easy to see in someone else. It's a little harder when it's your own situation.
Yep.
Um,
Honor that one.
So if I were to say to my husband, for example, you're focusing on what you don't want, like, reiterating all the things that are wrong, and you're getting more of it, he would see that as that's because you're making more of it.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't be a good strategy.
No, that's
Okay.
that's the mind slipping out of it, right? That's the mind saying, fine, you prove it to me, right? Which is being the victim, which is stepping out of it. And it's your choice at the end of the day, which is his choice. And so I think the dominant strategy in it is hearing what is needed, what is wanted way down deep inside, which always comes back to one of the core woundings.
Exactly.
And providing that. Not always easy for us in our patterns.
No.
Agreed. Because my Leo Linus pops up. He's really stubborn.
Oh yes, there we are. We like to fight, right? We like to fight. We like to take it personal, that's for sure.
I resemble that remark.
Mhm. We like to take it personal.
Yeah, and it's so simple in some ways, right? When we feel that personal, we have to be able to recognize that we're locking it down.
Yep. 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 Even if it's true or not.
I know.
Well, and the sad part is most of it isn't true.
Yeah,
It's our story
that's
Well,
right.
we
Which
make it
it's
up.
their story that they believe is true.
and
Yeah.
my story, or
Yep,
your story,
which you believe is true.
Yeah.
which makes history. So
Yeah.
blame it on
Which-
the man. It's his story.
which entangles and entraps it forever.
Mm.
And we continue to keep feeding it. Simple question. What's your choice, Ginny?
Well, I choose to rewrite history.
There we go. Great
Nice.
place. Repair. I just love that. Repair. That's my new one. Repair. Oh, just the intention. There's nothing to do with it.
How do you mean the intention has nothing to do with it, Jess?
Just with the word repair, you allow it to happen.
Yeah.
Repair. If we repair like as a pair, like 1, 2.
Effortless, struggleless,
Yep.
allowing versus push.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. There we go back to that
there's-
embrace. Huh?
There's the mowed lawn, guys.
looks good. Looks good.
And I weeded, but I can
Yeah.
see there's some I missed.
Yeah.
But-
Jeez. Slacker.
Thanks.
Did you see the ones you missed?
Yes, I did.
What do you
I will.
what have you been doing?
It's only 92 degrees
Yeah,
now.
I know.
Something came to me. It's gone. Sorry.
It was probably just a weed.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, good job. You get some drink, Coco.
Mhm.
Well, the good thing is we all go through it together. At least it seems that way.
It is easier together than alone, that's for sure.
Amen to that one. And for those that are alone, that are going through it alone, which is more than likely our other half.
Mm.
In their own story.
Mm.
We'll just put them
Yeah.
together. Let them bitch to each other.
The spouse fest.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to have a safe place to talk about this and not be thought weird.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. That's what's when we know others are going through it, right? It doesn't feel like we're going through it alone or by ourselves in that. And I continue to see it's like my ups, others are ups, my downs or others are down. Yeah, and it's like not by a whole lot more connected than I probably give it credit.
Mhm.
So Jesse, did you say that there was should I go to the YouTube to look for the unpair or the repair link?
Yeah, I would. Your quickest bet would be to listen to the beginning, the first 5 minutes of today. That would be your best
Oh,
bet.
okay. Okay.
This one today, first 5 minutes, I kind of gave a quick recap to it. It wasn't quite a meditative, but I explained it to you. If you wanted the meditation, it would be in yesterday's morning.
Okay.
Probably about 6:30, so about an hour and a half in, an hour and 20 in, I would say.
Okay.
That was when I'd call it more of a meditation took place. But I explained it to you and gave you the visual with it, so you can make yours with it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So that's celebrate the simple. Does that sound right from yesterday?
Mm,
Or unconditional love?
unconditional love. It's in unconditional love. Yeah.
Okay. I'll pull that up. Okay,
Well,
thank you.
6, and now we're in 20 in, I would say, something like that.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah.
How's the book going?
Hmm.
Sidetracked.
Mm.
Okay, understood.
For me, I think
Accumulating.
it's processing.
Yeah, that's like we're living it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like, and so what would we say is like, oh, we get to a point when we have a workbook. Yeah, it's like, oh, here we have a workbook that has pages to it that we've accumulated the thing, and so like that would be oh, here it is.
Here's another part of a chapter
Here's
Um,
the thing.
on living true choices, or whatever you want to call it.
Here's the thing.
Being fully you,
When,
all of you.
when we're creating it here, we're making it here, we're producing it here, we're in it here. And so,
Real time
Yeah.
creation. Well done. Well, thank you guys.
yeah, thank you.
I'll sign off
Thanks,
so you can
Jenny.
get on with business. Love you,
Sounds
Mina.
good. Thanks for sharing with us. Great to see
You
you.
too. You too. Bye-bye now.
Bye, Jenny.
Bye, love. Have you still got more in you?
I'm waiting for my sandwich, and then I got my 2 o'clock, so I got a little bit of time till my sandwich shows up.
Okay.
If you've got more in you,
I don't know.
yeah, I can be complete too. So
There is a lot there, but it's not immediately retrievable, I don't think.
I didn't want to take anything from you or leave you hanging with anything.
Oh, leave me hanging. Thank you. Dear. So, okay. So there is one thing, and then I did want to talk about this at some point. And now I don't know if I can articulate it even. And it has to do with dealing. So it's a structure in which I deal with my body. And how to recognize when I'm
Mhm,
fixing as opposed to creating.
mhm. Limits is the best thing I can say.
Yeah.
Limited. It's like from a so that I get or have or become what. It's like that timing, right? Or the orientation, holding on to the way that it is, declaring it. I would also like how are you seeing you in it?
When I've got the space, then I can experience the spaciousness and the allowing. But I mean, I'm more able to create that for myself than anybody else is ultimately. And when I get caught in that loop of confinement within story, of old patterns, then I don't always know how to discern whether it's an old pattern or whether it is just a genuine limitation, which is fine. I mean, we've all got limitations on some level. So, I mean, it's interesting when I left South Africa, one of my friends said to me, and she'd known me for 15 years by then. And she said to me, you've been so ill, and I've never thought of you as being an ill person. And I could take that as a compliment, and also experience that too. Like I didn't feel like I was a chronically ill person. But the last 20 years have been different. Very different. The challenges have been bigger. They always are when you get older as well. So it's a readjustment, right? And I realized that, so there's a reality to the fact that the side effects of the medications are taking over now. But I still have a bandwidth with it. And what's difficult is that I will all of a sudden find myself back in that experience of that I have to notice everything, because what happened before was I was caught so off guard. And so my interpretation of being caught off guard was that I wasn't paying enough attention. Right? So again, it's about, okay, so you can notice the detail in the detail, but don't grasp it. Don't try and force it. Be gentle with it. Flow with it instead of resisting it. And what I realized was when I grasp it, it's because I still have that frontier of death that it comes immediately. So that's a good awareness, because then I can do something different with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm always saying, I don't know where I would have been without my yoga experience and the teachings from there, that we're not the body. So I guess I'm still.
And where you are with it.
Say that again, Jess. And where I am with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you are as a result of it. Like what is where it is, which is now.
That's right.
That's more of a creative structure than the problem solving of it, or where wouldn't I have been?
Yeah. I mean, we always like to think that we would have been in a much better place without the shadow that we have. Right?
Right. But it can't be.
No.
And even like when we do, we always think like, oh, we would have been in a worse spot than we are now anyway.
I mean, I think back sometimes to the point of the transplant because I didn't want to have it. And I didn't want to have it because I knew that the pharmaceuticals would, you know, that they were a big problem. But you can't have a transplant without pharmaceuticals. So, you know, I had to choose. And I know that if I didn't have Kaylee's, I would have chosen not to have it. And I'm not sure that I would have been able to get this far in longevity without it. Some people have, but their reason for the transplant was different to mine. And I think of people that have been so fond of over the years, people that I've really loved, you know, in my cohort that have died. They're not here anymore. And yet I am. So there's a little bit of a trust factor there. Put it into human language terms, that's what it is. I think what I'm thinking now is how, you know, just even recently with what I experienced in terms of feeling like I was hitting a brick wall. And even though I'm doing different things now, the coordinates, as you would put it, haven't changed, haven't shifted. But I'm less grasping and more trusting of coulds. So that's pretty good. Yes.
Yeah. And there's no way to ever test the model. You know, it's like saying, well, if I wasn't aware of that, what would it be like?
Yeah. Yeah.
All we could say is, well, I would have continued in some way. But we would have never known what else would have shown up in that continuation.
Exactly.
That's why forecasting doesn't work,
That's right.
or predicting doesn't work,
That's right.
or what's looking back and wishing for something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
'Cause it's not looking at what it is.
Yes. not allowing the experience of what is to be fully present.
Yeah.
All of it, right?
Yep.
So going past the immediate experience and asking what else is there.
Yep. Yep.
So
There
then
you
I
go.
go back to that question of mine. What have you got right now that you could use to get you to where you want to be in the present? Right? Mm.
No. Truth is you do, right?
How do you mean? Sorry.
Truth is you have everything.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
That's where I go, why can't you? Because it's bringing up the resistance of what's in the way of why I can't, even though we all know we have it all.
Yeah, but people often don't know. They really don't know. They don't see it, right?
Right.
Jess, when you've got time, you'll really enjoy that interview between Mo and Deepak Chopra. It's beautiful.
I listened to it one time through, listened to it in, I got to listen, like put more focus on what I was listening to with it. I kind of played it in the background.
Mm. Mm.
I didn't appreciate it all.
Mm. It's what it's what was so lovely for me was it's that logic that gets brought out in yoga philosophy is so exquisite. And so it's not new to me, but I always am in awe actually when I have somebody that is so skilled at communicating it. But what really captured my heart was to watch these two men that were so obviously had such love for each other.
Yeah.
That was so beautiful.
Yeah.
It was really divine.
Appreciation and to see the and it's like, oh, to not even know like that's part of the background of mate, like who he is from how I know him and listen to him and respect him. It's like to know, it's like, oh, that this is one of my teachers. It's like, oh, fascinating.
Yeah.
Because there is great, respect for I know Mo better than
Deepak.
than Deepak, and same with Brene Brown,
Yes.
so.
Yes, I was surprised because I've not always enjoyed her, like the research that she did all those decades back on vulnerability when it first started kind of coming out, it was great. And then I don't know what happened. I got a bit tired. I think I do often. There's something that happens for me around people that are put in the spotlight like that all the time, and it's not their fault.
They're working through it too.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like finding their way, finding what it is. Like they get an idea, it goes popular, and then it's like trying to recreate that again. When it's like I
Yeah.
really need to find, and so you get to the point of what is really driving the passion again.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. And there's
what
so much.
happens when we monetize things.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think also what it is too is that there's, with the way in which the internet works now, there's so much. I think it's so tired of these pithy titles, Um,
There's so
but-
much emphasis on it and
Yeah.
attracting and getting it in
Oh,
first
yeah,
5
no.
seconds, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how I feel about it.
I don't even read the title much of anything anymore. It's just,
Yeah. Yeah.
and nor do I go out and search for anything. It's usually people say, "Oh, check that, do that." Yeah,
Yes.
and that's more of how I work with it.
Yeah. Yeah. But I was really glad because Kayla's put me on her family plan for Spotify. So, and I don't often listen. I just listen to one podcast, and then hers came up, and I thought, oh, okay, let me go and listen. And the first one was the one with Chris Germer, who's the Buddhist psychologist, and it is so divine. And then the next one was equally divine with this Franciscan priest. I'd never heard of him, I'd never read any of his stuff. And those interviews there was so much depth, to both of them. And there was also this lightness, her capacity to laugh at herself, and to describe herself so well.
Yeah.
It was really amazing. So I'll listen to more of her podcast going forward. Yeah. Sorry, now I made you eat your sandwich.
So good.
Yes,
All
you-
good. All good. It was perfect. It worked out great.
Good.
Yeah, I could listen.
Mm. So I don't know exactly what I've encapsulated, but it feels more ordered. It feels like there's more order for me in it, which is nice.
Clearer truth, some clarity around, oh, I can try this, I can see that. And as they pop up, now you've got, new awarenesses to work with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I get like, and then I go, it's so interesting how quick you just slip back into that old pattern. Like, and for me, this is really good. My old pattern is, what am I going to do if?
Yeah. Poof.
What am I going to do if this doesn't shift?
Yeah. Which creates what?
It creates a constriction, and then a fight. Right?
It won't. It creates that, which is just a repetition, a
Exactly.
replay.
Exactly. And it's not staying in the now.
That's right.
It's
right.
projecting into the future. Yeah.
Back to bring it forward. Yep.
Yeah. That's great awareness. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Yes. Great.
Maybe I'll be able to write about that.
Yeah, good. Well, I got mine to write about too. They're big moves. Yeah. Well, have a great weekend.
You too, Jess. And
All right.
thank you again so much.
Yeah, thank you. Yes.
Take care.
Enjoy it. All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.